Travel to Asia, a reopening timeline, best places to go. From megacities to rural islands, Asia's top tourist destinations offer a healthy blend of adventure, ancient history, and culture. Many countries are out to reach for a last-minute vacation, especially with long visa processing timeframes and limited entrance choices. As entrance regulations vary, make sure to book directly with an airline, hotel, or tour organization that allows you to modify your dates or destination without incurring a cost. Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. Today we'll check out the best places to go in Asia during the reopening timeline, so make sure to stay until the end of the video, subscribe to our channel and ring the notification bell to keep updated with all our videos. Bali, Indonesia. In February, Indonesian officials opened Bali to tourists from all over the world. Vaccinated arrivals must quarantine for 5 days at their own expense in a government-approved hotel. However, this may be reduced to 3 days in the following weeks before being phased out entirely in April. Before arriving, they must present a proof of vaccination and a negative COVID-19 test result. A second test is given when you arrive at the airport. Arrivals who have not been vaccinated must be quarantined for 7 days. All visitors must show proof of health insurance that includes COVID-19 coverage. Borders are opening, but getting there remains a challenge due to the restricted number of direct international flights available. The first airline to resume flights to Bali, Singapore Airlines, began service on February 16 and will run daily flights to Bali from Singapore to meet high demand. Because Indonesia is still mostly closed to non-residents and nationals, it's unclear whether foreign travelers will be able to transit through another airport there. Travelers could travel into Jakarta, but they would have to go through quarantine before continuing to Bali. Travelers must quarantine for the first 5 days in government-approved lodging, which is often a 5-star resort or hotel in tourist-friendly Nusa Dua, Jimbaran, Sanur, or Ubud. Outside of that, most locations are open, especially in green, low COVID-19 risk zones. However, eateries will have reduced hours, and attractions like Pura Tana, Lot, and Olawatu Temple will have improved health and safety procedures. To check into restaurants, pubs, or even beaches, travelers must wear masks and download the Peduli Lindungi contract tracing app. Cambodia. Cambodia reopened to vaccinated international tourists without quarantine in November. However, travelers must show proof of vaccination and a negative COVID-19 test result before taking a quick antigen test and waiting for results at the airport. There are no direct flights to Cambodia from the United States and United Kingdom or Australia. However, there are choices with connections. However, according to the US Embassy in Cambodia, several tourists have reported unexpected flight cancellations and limited flight availability to Cambodia since the US Embassy reopened. The embassy advises US citizens to book flights with Korean Airlines or Asiana Airlines through a travel agent or directly with the airlines. With stopovers, passengers from the United Kingdom can fly with Swiss Airlines or Bangkok Airlines. The Cambodia, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, and Cambodia to Vietnam land borders are all closed, making it impossible to enter Cambodia via land. Most places and tourist hubs like Siem Reap include the UNESCO World Heritage Site Angkor Wat are open. Hostels, hotels, restaurants, and museums are available, although most venues require masks and some companies may have shortened hours, so check ahead. Laos. Under the Special Travel Green Zones and Trails programs, Laos is open to tourists from several nations, including United States, United Kingdom, Australia, Ireland, Israel, Denmark, and Indonesia. Other requirements include a health insurance policy with a minimum coverage of $50,000 and COVID-19 test before departure. Upon arrival, a second test will be given. Laos is accessible from practically every country in Southeast Asia, so including it in a multi-trip Southeast Asian holiday should be simple. However, regardless of where you're coming from, the only way to enter Laos is through pre-arranged group trips with approved agents as part of the Green Zone travel plans. The capital city of Vientiane and the province of Luang Prabang, the adventure destination of Lan Vieng in the country's north, are all declared green zones. Tourists are currently restricted to these zones, but on April 1, other places will be added to the programs until the entire country is planned to open up in July. Philippines. On February 10, borders reopened. Travelers from 157 visa-free nations can visit the Philippines without being subjected to quarantine, but they must first test negative for COVID-19. Philippine Airlines, the flag carrier, operates direct flights from Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, London, and other Asian cities, although at lower frequencies. According to Skift, flights from London's Heathrow depart only at once a week currently, compared to 4 times before the outbreak. Qantas will restart service between Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, and Manila later this month. Tourists will be able to travel freely throughout the Philippines rather than being limited to specific regions. COVID-19. The 19 measures differed by location. Some tourist destinations such as Siargao are still recovering from Cyber Typhoon Rai in December. Boracay Island has reopened to guests after being closed due to over-tourism issues. Thailand. Visitors who have been vaccinated have 2 options for entering Thailand: the Test and Go and the Sandbox programs, including specific testing and quasi-quarantine restrictions. Visitors who have not been vaccinated must stay in quarantine for 7 to 10 days. Before you depart, you'll need to reserve some lodging and take some examinations. Thailand also requires all visitors to register for a Thailand pass before entering the country, which can take up to 60 days to process, so preparing ahead is crucial. Thailand now has commercial flights, and the government has granted visas to visitors from most Southeast Asian countries and the United States, Australia, and the United Kingdom, Canada, Ireland, France, Japan, and other countries. If you travel under the Sandbox program, you can only go to places like Phuket or Koh Samui. If you qualify for the Test and Go program, you can travel across the island. The majority of significant tourist locations are designated as blue zones. With fewer restrictions, museums, historical sites, and galleries all have capacity constraints. Restaurants are open, but bars, karaoke establishments, and nightclubs are closed. Singapore. After halting its vaccinated travel lane VTL program in December, Singapore has reopened its doors to vaccinated visitors from the United States, the United Kingdom, Indonesia, Thailand, Australia, and France. Passengers no longer need to take a COVID-19 test before departure or to isolate upon arrivals as of February 2022. Instead, they'll be subjected to supervised tests within 24 hours of their arrival. Foreign travelers can avoid quarantine when arriving on a designated VTL flight such as Singapore Airlines, KLM, or Air France. However, the ministry does acknowledge that availability has decreased since these flights resumed in January 20. Most places are open, but museums and attractions are half full, and restaurants, coffee shops, and hawker centers limit dining to 2 people per group. Vietnam. Tourists from recognized countries can visit Vietnam, but only to particular destinations as part of a pilot travel scheme that could last through March 15, 2022. In the meantime, visitors must show proof of vaccination and a negative COVID-19 test result and purchase COVID-specific health insurance with a minimum coverage of $50,000. On February 15, COVID-19 limitations on foreign passengers' flights were lifted, and flights to and from Air San Francisco and Los Angeles and Singapore, Thailand, Cambodia, and other destinations were resumed. Tourists visiting Vietnam must buy a tour package. Details are accessible on the tourism board's website and stay for at least 7 days in their chosen destination. Travelers can move to another approved destination after the 7 days are up as long as they test negative before leaving. Tourists can pick from 5 beach destinations: Phu Quoc, Da Nang, Quang Nam, Nha Hua, and Quang Ni. But beginning March 15, the entire country opened itself to tourists with some restrictions. Maldives. Maldives has been open to tourists for some time now with only minimal restrictions compared to other tourist Asian countries. You've seen photographs of the Maldives picture before perfect picture, private homes hung over dazzling blue waters, powdery white sand beaches, and breathtaking sunsets. The Maldives' scenic splendor is spectacular, and it's something you won't really appreciate until you visit. The Maldives is a popular destination for honeymooners seeking privacy and adventures, seeking to explore the ocean's depths on a scuba diving or snorkeling vacation. Relaxation is available at one of the island's spas, and all tourists should spend at least 1 day touring Malé, the Maldivian capital. The hotels in this area are likewise incredible, with everything from underwater hotels to overwater bungalows or to breathtaking resorts. Getting to and staying in this tropical paradise, on the other hand, demands patience and a large sum of money. The Maldives, located between the Arabian and Maldives Seas, some 500 miles southwest of Sri Lanka, are about as remote as you get, and that's one of its many incitements. With that, we've come to an end. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and subscribing to our channel would be appreciated. Subscribe for more exciting content. Until next time, take care and goodbye.